In an age where agriculture is transformed by artificial intelligence, satellite mapping, and smart machinery, it may seem surprising that one of the most talked about tractors in 2025 was built nearly 50 years ago. Yet Big Roy 1080 continues to fascinate engineers, farmers, and machinery enthusiasts across the world. This colossal machine is not just remembered because of its immense size, but because it represented a moment in history when engineers dared to push agricultural technology beyond anything that had ever been attempted before. Big Roy was not designed to follow trends. It was designed to question them. Long before tractors relied on touchscreens and precision sensors, Big Roy was already exploring extreme performance through raw mechanical power. Even today, when viewed beside modern machines, it still feels unreal. It is a reminder of a time when farm equipment was built not only to work the land, but to challenge the limits of engineering itself. Born from bold ambition, Big Roy emerged in the late 1970s under the Versatile brand, created by engineers who refused to accept conventional limits. At the time, farms were expanding at an unprecedented rate, particularly in North America, and traditional tractors were struggling to keep up with the demands of ever-growing fields. Farmers were operating multiple machines where a single powerful tractor could have been more efficient. That unmet need sparked a radical idea: build a tractor so powerful that it could replace several machines at once. This vision led to the creation of Big Roy as a prototype, not as a product for sale. The goal was not to build something affordable. The goal was to test how far tractor engineering could truly go. How much power could a tractor handle? How large could it become? And at what point would size become a liability rather than a benefit? Big Roy existed to answer those questions, a presence that still intimidates. Standing beside Big Roy even today feels like standing next to a slow-moving building. Its massive structure stretches more than 30 feet from front to rear and rises high enough to make modern tractors appear unimpressive by comparison. Its 8 tires, arranged in dual sets at each corner, give it a stance that feels less like agriculture and more like industrial warfare. This was a machine designed not to blend into a field, but to dominate it. Everything about its appearance communicates authority. The squared metal body looks more like a fortress than a machine designed for crops. There is no attempt at style or elegance. It is industrial in the purest sense. Heavy, thick, brutal, and strangely beautiful. Even in 2025, its proportions remain shocking. Modern engineering may have become sleek and digital, but Big Roy remains monumentally physical. Strength that shook the ground. The true personality of Big Roy lived under its heavy frame. At its core sat a Cummins diesel engine that produced more than 1,000 horsepower. At the time of its creation, this figure was nearly unimaginable for a tractor. Even today, it rivals the most powerful machines in agriculture. When its engine started, it was not a sound you merely heard. It was a vibration you felt in your chest. The sound rolled across land like distant thunder. The vibration passed through the ground and into your bones. Big Roy did not hum like modern machinery. It roared. It announced itself. It demanded attention. This engine was not about efficiency. It was about dominance. It existed to pull massive implements across enormous fields without hesitation or strain. The goal was not comfort or quiet operation. The goal was relentless output. Inside the cab of a mechanical giant, the cabin of Big Roy does not resemble the interior of modern farming equipment. There are no digital displays, no climate-controlled luxury seats, no software-driven automation. Instead, the interior reflects the mindset of its era: rugged, functional, and brutally honest. The seat is high above the ground, giving the driver a commanding view of the land below. From this elevated position, the world feels smaller, flatter, and strangely conquerable. The driver does not simply operate Big Roy, the driver commands it. The controls are mechanical and direct. Levers, dials, and physical switches dominate the space. There is no interface between human and machine other than muscle and attention. This is how farm machinery used to be. Heavy, loud, physical, and unforgiving of mistakes. Why Big Roy never ruled the world? Despite its success as a prototype, Big Roy never entered production. Not because it failed, but because it succeeded too completely in the wrong direction. The machine worked, but it demanded resources far beyond what most farms could provide. Fuel consumption was immense. Maintenance was specialized. Transportation alone was a challenge. Big Roy was powerful, but it lacked practicality. The agricultural industry thrives on machines that are affordable, serviceable, and adaptable. Big Roy was none of these things. It was a triumph of engineering, but an economic nightmare. However, its development was not wasted. The lessons learned from its construction influenced future tractor designs. Engineers studied its weight distribution, drivetrain behavior, structural stress points, and mechanical limits. Big Roy taught the industry what not to build, and that knowledge became just as valuable as success. A titan compared to modern technology, today's agricultural giants like the John Deere 9RX and Case 1H Quadtrac are technological marvels. They are intelligent machines capable of navigating fields with centimeter precision. They optimize fuel use automatically. They communicate with satellites. They process data in real time. Big Roy does none of this. Yet when placed side by side with modern equipment, Big Roy does not look outdated. It looks defiant. Where newer tractors represent intelligence, Big Roy represents fearlessness. Where modern machines are careful and calculated, Big Roy is aggressive and unapologetic. The industry chose intelligence. Big Roy chose supremacy, the machine that became legend. Most machines fade quietly into history. Big Roy did the opposite. It became folklore. Mechanics who worked on it describe it the way sailors describe storms. Farmers who saw it operate remember it as something unnatural. Engineers still debate its design choices decades later. Big Roy is not remembered for what it did. It is remembered for how it felt. It left emotional fingerprints on the industry. And years later, it still commands fascination not because it was useful, but because it was fearless. Why the world still remembers. In a world where modern machines are little more than silent computers wrapped in metal, Big Roy still stands as something you can feel before you even see. Heavy, loud, unapologetically physical, and impossible to ignore. It represents a time when engineers challenged the world with steel instead of software, when innovation was powered by courage rather than code, and when failure was not feared but accepted as the price of discovering something new. Big Roy did not chase efficiency charts or digital perfection. It pursued limits themselves, and that is why it still matters. Yes, there is nostalgia in remembering it. But what truly keeps the legend alive is respect for an era when machines were built with raw ambition, not quiet logic, and when engineering dared to be dangerous. The final message from a mechanical beast. Big Roy left behind more than scars in the soil. It left the industry with a warning carved in steel and a lesson written in noise and dust. Bigger is not always better. Smarter usually wins, but only boldness ever becomes legendary. This machine was never built to dominate sales charts or farming markets. It was built to challenge limits, to stare engineering in the face and dare it to blink, to prove that there was still a place in the world for fearless design and uncontrolled ambition. And in doing so, Big Roy accomplished something no efficient machine ever could. It became unforgettable. It did not just work fields, it worked imagination, and long after its engine fell silent, its presence continues to echo because Big Roy was not created to be successful. It was created to be impossible, and somehow, against all odds, it succeeded. And just like Big Roy itself, this story proves one thing. Real legends don't rust. They echo through time. If you enjoyed stepping back into the era when machines were built to challenge the impossible, make sure you hit that like and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss what's coming next. The past still has secrets, and we're just getting started.